Chuck Greene walks into Dead Rising 2 already looking guilty, and he hasn't even done anything yet. That's the thing that gets me every time I think about this game. He didn't even cause the outbreak. He didn't release the zombies. But everything about his situation makes him the easiest person in Fortune City to point at. He's the ex-motocross star, the guy connected to the last outbreak. The dude is literally riding through zombies on live television for money. Before the story even gets going, Chuck is already set up to take the fall. And honestly, Terrorist Reality is where it all starts, because on the surface, that show looks pretty bad. Like really bad. A guy using zombies as props for a game show, letting crowds cheer while he mows them down for prize money. If you didn't know Chuck's situation, you'd probably think he was just another guy cashing in on something awful. But the whole reason he's out there doing it is because Katey needs Zombrex. And that stuff isn't cheap. He's not there because he loves the attention, but he's there because he has no other option. The audience watching at home don't know that though. They see the spectacle, and once people see you a certain way, that image sticks. So when the outbreak hits Fortune City and someone leaks footage suggesting Chuck was backstage where the zombies got released, people were basically already there. The accusation doesn't need to be airtight. It doesn't need to make complete sense. Chuck was at the event. Chuck has a history with outbreaks. And Chuck is on camera every night riding through zombie pits. That's enough. People fill in the rest themselves. And then inside the safe house, things get messier because Chuck immediately lies about having Zombrex so he and Katey can get through the door. Which, okay, I get it, he's desperate. But that instantly makes Sullivan suspicious. And then he keeps slipping out to find more doses or chase down leads on what actually caused the outbreak. From Sullivan's perspective, that looks like exactly what a guilty man would do. Sticking around, hiding things, never giving a straight answer. Did you trust Sullivan when you first met him? Because I didn't. But I also understood why he didn't trust Chuck either. The whole dynamic is built on both of them having reasons to be suspicious of each other. That's what makes TK and the people actually behind everything so effective. They don't need to build a perfect lie. They just need to point at Chuck and let the existing story do the work. He's visible enough to blame. He's compromised enough that people will believe it. And if he dies before he gets a chance to explain himself, the whole thing wraps up clean. Disgraced motocross guy, history with zombie outbreaks, found at the scene of the disaster. Nobody asks harder questions after that. And that's where the game actually got me, because you realize pretty quickly that you're not just fighting zombies and psychopaths. You're fighting a story that already being written about Chuck. Every case file you track down is you pulling that narrative apart before it sets. I remember the first time I missed this deadline and I got the bad ending, and it genuinely felt wrong. Not just like a game over screen, like Chuck got buried under something he didn't deserve. What makes him work as a character is how differently you see him depending on where you're standing. From the outside, he's messy and reckless and hard to defend quickly. But you spend the whole game watching him drag himself across Fortune City, fighting through hordes and psychopaths just to get back to Katey in time. He's not doing it because he likes the chaos, but he's exhausted. You can feel it. The gap between how the world reads him and how you actually experience him is where everything emotionally lands. And then off the record just takes that and goes somewhere darker. Katey dies in that version, and eventually Chuck becomes a psychopath you have to fight. When I first checked out some videos of that mode and people playing the game, I realized what they did with him. I was just kind of disappointed a little bit because it makes sense. It's the same guy, same weight on his shoulders, same desperate energy underneath everything. But with nothing left holding him together, it feels like a warning. Like the game is showing you what happens when someone gets pushed into a corner long enough and nobody pulls them out. Chuck Greene wasn't built to be the obvious hero. He's awkward and tired and easy to misread, and that's exactly what makes him so useful to the people trying to bury the truth. Fortune City needed someone to carry the blame so the real story could stay buried. Chuck was just standing in the right place at the wrong time, with enough baggage that nobody would look too hard. The whole game is about making sure that isn't how it ends for him.